Hello and welcome to Love Games. I'm going to be playing Hellblade 2 on the Xbox. A little bit of housekeeping. In case you're worried about spoilers, I am in chapter 5. I guess about a third of the way through it. So if you're worried about spoilers, don't watch this, obviously. But that's why I've blurred this. Anyway, yeah, I'm talking over stuff I recorded because it's a story-focused game, and playing it and while talking felt counterintuitive. It's a short game, about 5 hours, I believe, 5 to 6 hours. I've seen taking me a bit longer because I'm not great at the puzzles and I'm not dying in the combat. But yeah, I really like the look of it. I think it looks fantastic, and the story is really good. I didn't like the first game. I bought it on the PlayStation, and I just couldn't get into it. It was, this doesn't feel different to it from what I played of the first one, but you're still walking down tight corridors. It's just the things on either side of a corridor seem a lot more impressive to look at. But the trick is that you haven't got much sort of cadence on where you go. You're walking down a corridor. It just looks nicer than what I played in the first game, which was a lot of caves and stuff. I think you were going to hell with one L, whatever it was. It's gory in places, which normally isn't my cup of tea. There's a whole sequence that reminds me of the movie Bone Tomahawk, which is something. But yeah, well, the other thing it reminds me of structurally, in terms of computer games, not Western cannibal movies, is What Remains of Edith Finch. Structurally, it reminds me of it in that you're doing a lot of vignettes, it seems, to get to the bigger story. The actual Senua character, feels like the story's working around her rather than she's integral to it. So, I mean, from what I remember the first game as well, it was all about her, but this one feels about the people around her. And I mean, that's why maybe I'm liking it, because I like the stories they're telling. But yeah, getting into it, there is very much like you find out bits about people and why they're angry, like a bit like Edith Finch, and a bit like that as well. The puzzles can get frustrating, more so in this one, because they are quite repetitive. It's always looking for things in the environment, and there's that. So and especially this bit I'm in now, it was the same puzzle twice in quick succession, which just seems like a really bad video game, choice. Like, this whole looking for shapes in the environment puzzle, it's happened about 5 times in the game to this point, and I was like, okay, I don't like the puzzle, but it's not happening a lot. And then you get it twice in a row, very close together, and I was like, I'm kind of hoping that might mean they're going to cut down on it, but we'll see. And there's a whole ball thing where you look at there's one there that focus on those balls, and it changes the environment ever so slightly. And because there's no map or no, and the blue haze gives you an idea of what's going to change, but it's just, I like the choice of not having a HUD and like health and maps and stuff in concept, but actually in practice it just makes it a bit more frustrating. I mean, what I will say in its favour, it does, if you're really banging your head against a brick wall, the characters, in a good way, not in a, you should do this, there's your answer. They all say, you're near or you're far, you're warm or you're cold, to the solution of a puzzle, I think. The combat, which you don't see here in this video, I like it because again, another caveat, I'm not good at parrying and the whole Souls-like Bloodborne sort of complex combat. I'm just not good at it. I like to mash a button, I'm afraid, and that's something I'm happy with. In the same way as I like the fact this game seems to be about 7 hours at the most. That's what I look for in a game. That lack of complexity. So yeah, the combat is good, I think, but I can see why some people would say it's not good. But like I say, you don't see any of the combat here. That's there's not cinematography, but the camera-wise, the combat, I forgive, not you, because you make your own mind up, but I forgive a lot of the game. You don't feel like you're in control because the camera's moving around and it's all pretty epic. So I don't know, with all the combat I've done so far, how much has been my skill. I'd say little of it, because I'm not, like I say, good at parrying and timing and stuff. But yeah, it serves a purpose, and I definitely think the combat's better than the puzzles. Like, look at me looking for an F in the screen. It's just like, yeah, but then what it does here, yeah, like say, it points me to the answer, because it's like you're not going to find it. Which, you know, I'm glad they did that. Like I said, I didn't like the first game, and maybe if I'd given it more time, I would have. And that's sort of, yeah. And the thing is I bought the first game because it wasn't on a service at the time. So that's, yeah. The fact this is on Game Pass is the only reason I'm playing it, because, like I said, I was put off the first game. It reviewed very well, the first game, initially. I think it was one of those games that when it came out, everyone was like, this is the best thing ever. And then over time it was like, you know, it has its limitations, and I kind of bought it when everyone was saying it's the best thing ever. But yeah, so this is on Game Pass, like I say, and I am glad it's on Game Pass, because I wouldn't have tried it otherwise. Yeah, games like this is kind of why I come to Game Pass, and you know, with the current news as it is with Game Pass, I said Game Pass like 3 times there, very closely. Yeah, this is why I like a service like that. Like, and I liked to play PS Plus when I had a PlayStation, because you were discovering stuff. And yeah, if this service was reduced to, you know, Halo, Gears of War and Call of Duty, I'd give 2 of those a go. I don't think I'm ever going to give Call of Duty a go. It's just not my... Yeah, it's just not for me. Like, yeah, it's... Call of Duty's a weird one, because I do like a shooter. But it's very long. This is going to say a lot, but the last one I played was, I think, Modern Warfare, whatever the one is where you get blown up by a nuclear bomb. Or, yeah, blown up by a bomb and you kind of crawl slowly to your death, whatever that one was. And I was like, this isn't so serious. It is serious, but it's not serious. But it was serious. It's it's just not for me. So, like, if that is what it's reduced to, Game Pass, well, and I'm not going to move the needle because I'm one person. But it's just not a service that I'll be into. You know, like with I think it's Tango GameWorks. If I'm getting any of this wrong, that's because I'm not. I'm casually into all of this, but with the Hi-Fi Rush, which is a game that I didn't like, but I tried it on Game Pass, but I appreciate it in the same way as I like this. But if I didn't like this Hellblade, I'd still appreciate it. And if they shut down this studio, which I don't think they are going to, because I think they've said about a 3rd game already. But if they shut this studio down after this, I'd be sad. Even if I didn't like the game, if that makes sense, because I didn't like Hi-Fi Rush. It just wasn't for me. But I would have been interested to see another game like that. So, yeah, if they stop making bets like this and Hi-Fi Rush and, you know, Pentiment, I love Pentiment. I don't think that, again, Obsidian, and they're not going to get rid of Obsidian, but if they turn around to Obsidian and said, don't make your Pentiments, I'd be sad. But like I say, I'm just one person, and hopefully a lot of people, including people higher up in Microsoft, feel the same way, but it doesn't look like they do. I mean, yeah, and you can see from a business sense why it works. I mean, look at Epic. I don't think they'll ever make another game apart from Fortnite. I mean, unless, who knows what will happen in the future. Because Fortnite is everything, and that's the model everyone makes. But then every live service game isn't going to be a Fortnite. So, sorry, got off on a tangent there. Yeah, and like I say, I like the idea of Game Pass being like I used PS Plus at the time, which was something to introduce me to smaller games, like I said about What Remains of Edith Finch. Although I did think I bought that, but I did believe that came to PS Plus, and that was a great introduction to a game like that, which I loved. And Unfinished Swan was another one. And interestingly, I'm mentioning walking simulators, and I do think this game, walking is such a derogative term in my opinion, but this game would be better if it was in that genre, like if they got rid of 70% of the looking for shapes in the environment puzzles, and that's me being generous in my opinion, and just focused on the story, which I do think is good, and the look of it, which is exceptional, and a little bit of the combat. I think I really like this game, but I think it would be more appealing to everyone, maybe. But then, it would be it's just a walking simulator. So, but yeah, kind of closing thoughts on this game. I don't think I've got much longer of gameplay from it, and hopefully, again, I've been talking over it, so story spoilers I think you probably hopefully missed out on. Final thoughts on the game. Don't normally do things like this. It's almost like I'm reviewing it, which I'm not. It's a really good story. It's a gripping story for me. The gameplay isn't great. Like, I've not even mentioned walking around. Like, getting from A to B. It feels, especially in this underwater bit, they've done it on purpose, but it feels like you're walking through tar a lot of the time, and climbing, it's, if you see a wall, you don't really know how much cadence you've got over that and stuff. But like I say, I think it's a great game, and I would hate it if the industry didn't take bets, if that's the right word, or didn't take swings like this, and just made your Gears of, they turned around to the Ninja Theory and said, like, okay, yeah, that's great, but you're making a Gears of War offshoot next, or a Call of, that would make me sad, but maybe that's better than them turning around to them and saying, Hi-Fi Rush didn't sell, and we can't see your studio doing very well, and you're all, you're shut down. So maybe that's that. I would say, if you have Game Pass, give it a go, and if any of the stuff I've said, you've seen me say, or anyone said, like, appeals to you, buy it if you don't have Game Pass, because I think it's really good. I would like to see this Ninja Theory make an action game again. I'd like to see this become maybe just if they continue with Hellblade, maybe just lessen of the action and go, all in on an action game. I think that would be great. I'd like to see them do lots more. But anyway, this has been Learning to Love Games and my thoughts on Hellblade 2. yeah, thanks very much. Bye.
The sea took him and turned his blood to brine and spat him back on shore, a giant. Now he wanders that same shore.
If you've enjoyed this or any other videos we've made on this channel, please like and subscribe. Thanks very much. Bye.